Welcome to the Manager Lab, where we delve into the increasingly dynamic world of talent management. In each episode, we will unravel key insights, break down the most relevant books and articles, and provide actionable tips to optimize your approach in developing and retaining top talent. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the art, science, and strategy of unlocking your team's full potential. Let's enter the Manager Lab. If you've ever thought, I'm a strong operator, so why does leading still feel harder than it should? This episode is for you. A recent Harvard Business Review article, Why Leaders Need Power Skills, makes a blunt point. Most leadership failures today are not character issues. They're skill gaps, and not technical gaps, human skill gaps, the kind that determine whether people trust you, speak up to you, and actually perform for you. So today we're going to break down this in a very practical way and give you tools that you can start using immediately. So here's the big idea, the core message from the article. Technical skills might get you promoted, but power skills are what make you effective once you're there. So power skills, just to review, are things like listening well, empathy, having appropriate judgment, communicating effectively, and building relationships, what we've traditionally called soft skills. And here's why they matter more than ever right now. Organizations are seeing declining trust, low engagement. In fact, Gallup just published their 2025 State of the Global Report on Engagement. And indeed, employee engagement has fallen to 20%. And more concerningly, manager engagement has fallen to, I believe it was 24%, 5 percentage points lower than where we were last year. That's very, very discouraging and disheartening. But it rings with opportunity. So let me go on. Organizations are also seeing talent walking out the door, poor decision-making, despite good intentions. So the article argues that this isn't because leaders don't care, it's because they haven't built the right skills for today's environment. In a world where AI and technology handle more of the what, leaders are now judged on how well they handle the how. So here's what the article describes as power skills. What are they really? Well, power skills are your ability to understand what's really happening on your team, respond in a way that builds trust, and then make better decisions because of that understanding. Or said differently, power skills equal your ability to see reality clearly through other people. And most managers struggle here for one reason or another, but mainly because they're too far removed from the actual work. So they fill in the gaps with assumptions, and those assumptions lead to bad calls or bad decisions, frustrated teams, and missed opportunities. So here are 3 practical tools from the article that will give us a way to build power skills. So let's make each one actionable. Tool number 1 is leadership listening tours. This is not a survey. This is you as a leader going directly to your people and asking, what's getting in your way right now? What's one thing we should stop doing? What's one thing we should start doing? What's things that we should continue to do? And then, and this is the key, you don't defend or explain it. You just listen. And why this works is that you get unfiltered reality instead of filtered reports. So the practical tip here is to do 3 to 5 short conversations every week. Keep them to 5, 10, no longer than 15 minutes. And then start looking for patterns, not individual complaints, but what are the themes that are emerging from these conversations? That's tool number 1. Tool number 2, empathy shadowing. This one is even more powerful and underused. You literally observe your team doing their work. Sit with them, watch their workflow, ask questions like, what part of this is most frustrating for you? Or conversely, what part of this is most exciting to you? Where do things slow down? Where, the theory of constraints, if you will. Where are the bottlenecks? And what you'll find is that problems you never would have seen emerge here that you would have never seen in a meeting. And why this matters, leaders often make decisions based on how work should happen, not on how it actually happens. So here's the practical tip from the article. Block 1 to 2 hours per week, rotate across roles on your team, and then capture 3 friction points each time you sit down. And then go into the design room and figure out with your team what you can do about those friction points. Tool number 3, reverse mentoring. This flips the traditional model. Instead of you mentoring others, someone, often more junior than you, mentors you, especially on things like new tools, new technology, customer realities, and just often just day-to-day challenges in the workplace that you may be insulated from or separated from. This works because it breaks hierarchy and exposes blind spots very quickly. And so the practical tip here is to set up one monthly session where you ask them, one of your junior members, to teach you something very specific and end with, what am I missing as a leader? And then incorporate that data into your normal workflow. So the article then talks about the real shift managers need to make. And it's mindset shift, and it ties it all together. Stop thinking that your job is to have all the answers. Your job is to get closer to reality, because better awareness leads to better decisions, better trust, better performance. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most managers don't lack intelligence. They lack exposure to what's really going on. Power skills fix that. So if you take one thing from today, make it this. Don't try to become a, quote, better leader in theory. Instead, do one of these this week. Run 3 listening conversations, shadow 1 employee, or start 1 reverse mentoring relationship. Because power skills aren't built in a classroom. They're built in moments, repeated consistently over time. And the leaders who master them, they're the ones that people trust, follow, and ultimately perform for. Well, thanks for listening. And until next time we meet in the Manager Lab, do good work.